Osio, Toichu. Hello, and how are you? It's in my native language, in Cherokee, um, uh, Eastern dialect. Picking up from the last segment, we're into the fourth segment of the Red Indian myth. Just wanted to pick up from where I left off and dealing with the hair textures. I didn't want to get in too much depth with the textures. It's just that I wanted to summarize by saying our people did not contradict themselves, and we did not play skin or hair texture types. Again, we were people of content and character. I reemphasize that. Some people who might get lost because of fear. A lot of people are in a state of fear of losing their identity, and I find it hypocritical when so many of us today on the reservation and off the reservation are marrying so many outside of our indigenous identity. I mean, it's one thing to fall in love, and it's another thing to forget who you are. You have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And if you know not who you are, how are you going to love who you are if you know not who you are? I know because I went through this. For 25 years of my life, actually even longer than that, because upon finding out about my native culture, it was a shock because I grew up as a black American, and clearly you look at me, you see most people I run into who know about Native Americans in this country and the images that have been set forth. They say, "Oh, wow, you're Native," and then I tell them, "Yeah, I'm Native, but I'm mixed. I'm black and Indian." And they look at me and say, "I don't see any black," depending on who's looking at me, because people who I know growing up see these features all the time in the black community. It's my hair texture that throws people off. Really, they'll say, "Oh, you're Puerto Rican, Dominican," and this touches on some of my earlier statements that I made. Um, but it leaves the person that is in that position without any foundation or any platform to stand on. A little shaky. You're not sure. And I believe through my trials, through my adoption and everything I've gone through, it's made me a much stronger person now with regards to who I am today. Chief Eagle Spirit Dancing of the Cherokee Blackfoot Cultural Circle. And it's given me some more purpose. I run into people from the reservations, look at me and it's a clear, oh, which tribe are you from? I don't get the questions, where are you from? Only people who ask me where I'm from is who are basically foreigners or who don't know anything about the Native American experience in this country, historically or even currently, to say that looking at me, they can tell right offhand, oh, he's Native American. There are some people who are really ignorant of that. I've had many people who, mostly foreigners, who ask me what country I'm from, and yeah, the thoughts, that you can literally read from my face, but basically tell a story. And so, like I said, going back is that the contradictions or the hypocrisies that exist with the imaging. We are not the authors nor the creators of stereotypes and imaging with regards to our people. I believe that there has been so much tainted blood amongst our people. And I don't mean, when I say blood, I'm not talking the physical blood that runs and courses through our veins to keep us alive. I'm talking about the spiritual blood, which is disinformation that the European or white people, particularly here in America, have perpetuated in the media for so long, and having people believe that, well, the only Indians look like the Indians from the Lakotas or the Midwest, or that all the Indians live this way or that way, and this is how the Indians look. From what's it, Cary Grant to Elvis Presley to the movies that they have, given to us or fed us, from our mothers to our grandmothers, who have come up with these images and have learned to hate themselves as a result, and then loving those who look like those on the television screen, for them to turn around and internalize that hate, and look at their own mother, look at their own brother and own sister as they are less than human. And let me make a good example of this. You look at the reservations. You look at the alcohol consumption today. You look at the domestic violence that exists within and I've seen documentaries on this of Indians who abuse their own women. And I say, well, where does this come from? And then when I go to powwows, throughout the Eastern Hemisphere, and I'm not generalizing by no way. I see Native men, Indian men marrying white women, and there are some Native women who mumble under their breath, and I've heard this, who say, I'm tired of our Native men marrying these white women or marrying outside of their race. What is it? You don't love your own woman anymore, your own sister? What is the hatred? And this is, see, this falls upon what has been taught to us as a people. We're ugly. We're not pretty. We are not we don't have the European image of what's handsome or cute. So we've internalized this hate and taken it out on each other. No difference than what has been done to black people here as well. People can sit up there and argue this all day, but a lot of the powwows I go to, I see a lot of white people mixed up in our tents. Now, why is that? Why is that? I didn't create it. I'm just telling it like it is. And there are some good indigenous families who've kept to themselves. They kept within their family structure, within their ethnic structure, and kept the families together. They don't talk about those families that are doing well. That you can see it's a clearly indigenous fabric, but and even that's a contradiction because of the images. Again, I go back that there were over 500 nations of indigenous peoples here in this country, and not all of us looked alike. So the images so contrast, and I'm going to tell you, oh my God, in my own family tree down in South Carolina, I come to find out that the Saponi Indians, who were a dark-skinned Indian tribe, as in most Indians were, with different textures of hair. Now, I'm not saying that their hair was straight, the curly to kinky, coarse, almost African type hair. But I know this much, that during the transatlantic slave trade, that there were droves and droves of Africans who found out about these dark-skinned Indians, and that the skin complexions were not much different, and they found out that they were treating Africans as family in these tribal villages. So naturally, it was cause and motivation to flee from your white slave master and to find these indigenous lands. My own family, who I am mixed. I have black, I have white in my family, and I have Indian in my family. And I heard that, and this is a fact, the Harrells or the Harolds, who were Irish, who came from Ireland, came here, and down in South Carolina in Wateree, Kershaw County in Wateree, South Carolina, there were a band of Saponis, and they literally removed them, the Harrells, the Irish, as many as they could, to get them off the land. What they did was they went to the federal government. This was somewhere in the 17th century. I don't remember exact dates. Um, and what happened was they went to the federal government and said, these people are not, I believe this was actually in late 17th century, maybe like the 1840s, 1850s. They said that they're not Indian, they're black people. Well, they had one thing right, they were black, but they were Indian as well. And this is the frame up that these people have caused, because what they did the divisive thing and said black meaning that they're not African. I mean black meaning that they're African, excuse me, which is ludicrous and ridiculous and absurd. So, but they used this, and the federal government marched their troops in and removed them from their lands and dispossessed them. From stories I've heard from some of my cousins on Facebook, who I've found and met, um, and spoken to, some of the stories that they've given me, my own family. But yet, still in all, that there was some common ground found between the Indians and some of the white folks, and they managed to, they managed to intermingle. It wasn't just the Indians and the whites; it was blacks as well. You know, so again, it underlies something that is omitted from our history, and something that needs to be recognized and brought to the table. Um, the Red Indian myth. I hope that I have brought some insight to those who are watching this, give you a better understanding uh, of the historical inaccuracy of our people, and this whole idea that being black and being Indian was an oxymoron, when it was just the opposite. Being black and Indian was the total fit, if you will. It was the puzzle, or the piece that was in the puzzle that has been removed, and that a piece that did not fit was put in there to perpetuate a lie for so long. And I'm here today to dispel the myth of the Red Indian. And I thank you, and I hope that I have given you some information, valuable information, and that you come away from this better enlightened, not angry, not maybe frustrated a little bit, not angry. If you're angry with me, hey, I'm sorry. The truth hurts sometimes. When we were growing up and we did something wrong, and our parents, we got a beating for it, and they told us why we got a beating for it. We know we were wrong. We had to accept it because we were wrong, and that had to be corrected. And that's all that I'm basically doing here today. So I don't. If there's some white people who are offended by this, my apologies. I didn't come on here to offend anyone. I came on here to tell the truth, um, and to give a clearer, a representation of what has transpired in this country, for so long, and it's still perpetuated even to this very day. Okay, we say in my language, wado, which is thank you, and anigido, peace and blessings. Okun Chief Eagle Spirit dancing, and I'm signing out. Anigido, peace.